whatever, and no map. Cool. Welcome to Biscuit 10 RPG, everyone. You may notice that we have a person who is not here. That player is doing stuff with family, I believe, this weekend, which is totes cool. So we're going to do something a little bit different. The last game actually happened 2 days in the future. So we are doing the Time Warp episode. We're going to find out what Jean Valgris was up to with or without the rest of the party in the 2 days leading up to the last episode. At that point, I will read everything that happened in this episode and last episode at the same time, which I already regret a lot of my decisions. with that being said, as you all know, follow us on Twitter at Biscuit10RPG. Coming up here in 5 days, I will begin releasing the 12 Days of Christmas Advent Cursed Item Calendar brought to you by Mr. Biscuits and the things that pop through his head for reasons that I'll never tell you who hurt me. Other than that, you can also support us on Ko-Fi, which does not. I didn't put the link on here. I am failing at a lot of things, and that's fine. I'll fix it later, like maybe next session. It doesn't matter. But Ko-Fi is where you can find all of the already released content. And as I said, sometime in January, we will be releasing mini releases of the first gate, which is the Kickstarter that we unsuccessfully ran from quickly. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Um, this night begins the following evening after the party has rested and kind of gotten their wits about them and are beginning to process the events of the murder forest with lumbering trees. So we will go probably person by person. I'm going to go ahead and start with Jean. What is your character doing?
Jean will be kind of getting a feel for the city. He's spent most of his adult life kind of going from city to city, looking for answers, and this is kind of an old routine for him. He will stake out places where he thinks he can find information and try and just pick at threads to see if he can find someone in the city that has more knowledge that he can try to wield or purchase or some such from them. So
Gotcha.
he'll be hitting taverns and libraries and academies and anything he can think of, uh, trying to poke and prod at the underbelly information network, so to speak.
Okay. Very good. So, with that, we will go ahead and have you starting at the Hole in the Wall Tavern. Um, it is approaching sundown, and the tavern is a bustle with the sounds that you would normally associate with a lively bar scene. People yelling at each other and having a good time, jokes being thrown at one person's expense, but overall, a very jovial experience. Um, the stale smell of beer is slightly overcast by the sweat of adventurers as you walk into this very well established tavern.
Okay. Jean will get an ale from the bar and sit not in a corner, but as close to the center of the tavern as he can.
Okay.
And he is going to use his uh, telepathic abilities to not so much read minds, but just kind of skim the surface, so that instead of having to use his ears to listen to conversations, he can just skip like a stone across a still lake, bouncing between the surface thoughts of different minds, looking for something that can help him in his search.
Okay. So, just out of curiosity, is there any type of knowledge that you're hoping to glean from this? Anything that you're really peaked up for?
Um, because he doesn't know much about this area, it's going to first be kind of just like either history of uh, Yonkath or um, specifically a somebody talking about selling information. That's going to be his big keyword. But other than that, just
Okay,
trying to get a vibe, figure out what's
cool.
going
So, as you let your mind drift and kind of the your brain waves, as it were, kind of filter through the bar, jumping from mind to mind, you get usually kind of the same things of like just like, oh, I want that one, the brown one, not the no, that's goat piss. I don't want that. Stuff like that. People ordering drinks, people being very snobby, despite the fact this being a bar, which is strange. Um, there are a few things that kind of pique your interest, not necessarily because of the fact that it's what you're kind of listening for, but they're just off-putting ever so slightly. Some of the more mournful and gloomy folks in the tavern, um, just kind of buried in kind of deep thought with the fact that they've lost loved ones, and despite having the money to do so, there was no way to bring them back. Um,
on.
they as and it's just confusing that they went to many different clerics and all of them said the same thing. There is no resurrection in this city of sin. Um, and it, at first it's kind of like, oh, okay, just some cleric being pious and not wanting to help someone who was maybe a warlock or something, I guess. And then you go through and you notice that this is kind of a trend of thought, bouncing off of everyone's head, that someone has lost someone, and that it's just the overall consensus from these group of thoughts is that there's no way to bring back the dead, and there hasn't been for quite a while. Which seems strange because, as an adventurer and a traveler, you have seen the miracle of resurrection in person and you know that it can be done, but it seems strangely that everyone here just kind of has stopped believing.
Hmm,
So as you kind of
interesting.
let that thought settle into your mind, and you're thinking about it, another thing pops up that you hear things about like, oh, you better pay up on that favor, friend, otherwise the collectors are gonna get you. And he's like, no, 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 they're not gonna get me. They have to find me first. And he goes, I wouldn't toy with them. That's And then it kind of trails off as the person actually stops talking because that first thought of the word collectors kind of piqued your interest. Is like information collectors collecting, okay. And then the only thought is, from both of those gentlemen. You start with the first guy that was saying that the collectors, will come get you. Was just It's just a very like a very not necessarily frightened thought, but just concern, like a lot of concern for this man's friend. And the other guy, um, not so much words, but just the feeling of abject fear. You look over and you see this gentleman has a very brave face on, but you can tell by the way that his mind is that he is terrified of being found out by the collectors. You keep going through, there's more information. You hear people talking about like the latest haul they've made, the latest contract they completed, and then little bits of information here and there. But for the most part, you're just getting a lot of adventurer talk. And thoughts like, oh man, I loved when I used my broadsword and I smacked that banshee in the face and I ended it, and just like super really into like the whole vibe. Then you hear you hear a debate in someone's mind. Just it's right there on the surface, and they're just like, I can get the information, but I don't know if the price is worth it.
Mhm. Um, can I tell where that thought is coming from?
It is coming
Can
from
I
the
get a
back
beat on the
corner of
person?
the bar. So the way that it's set up is you have the bar on the far end, away from the doorway that you entered, and off to the right side of this bar is this elven woman, sitting at a table, um, kind of just with her like a very thoughtful pose, very deep in thought, and just kind of staring down at her ale.
Okay. I would like to approach and make friendly conversation. Um, just kind of
How do
grab
you
my ale from the
approach?
bar. I'll meander over.
All right.
Hello, I am new in town. You seem troubled. Penny for your thoughts?
Sorry, it's just not a good time. I'm just weighing some options.
I understand. I myself am weighing options, trying to find someone from which to purchase information. You wouldn't be bothered with such things, but it weighs heavily on me. I feel that talking with people can ease that burden.
Well, I may not necessarily be able to get help from you in my personal dilemma, but if you are willing to pay the price, there is one in the city known as the broker. Um,
Oh,
and they can get you seemingly any information you want as long as you're willing to pay the price. And I
and
say
what, pray
they because it's
tell?
not exactly human.
Well, not everyone is. What price? I assume quite steep.
It depends on the information requested, from my understanding.
I see.
Some sometimes it can be a simple favor, other times it requires much more.
And this is what you're struggling with? A question of price?
Uh, I am deliberating on whether or not the price is worth the information I seek.
See. Yes, a difficult road to walk. I myself do not know what price I would pay, but I will not know unless I seek it out. No?
This is true. No one knows how far they'll go until they get there, and sometimes they realize a bit too late. But that
Hmm.
settles it. I will find my information a different way. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Of course. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. She gets up and walks almost determined out the door.
Uh, Jean is gonna ruminate on that for a moment.
Cool. All right. We'll go ahead and give you time to ruminate while we see what everyone else is doing. Augustine, you have just gotten a letter to perform at a private celebration.
Do I recognize the name of who's hosting it?
It's just it's someone who you've seen patronize a lot of your other uh, acts at the Cracked Pact. Someone that it's not someone you really have talked to a whole lot, but contact of a contact sort of thing. So it's a request, it's not required. But if you wish to acquiesce and perform, they said they will pay handsomely and can get you in contact, potentially owe you a favor in return.
Okay. Is it when is the performance?
It will be about 4 hours from now. It will be a 10 o'clock sort of kind of into the evening, as it were.
Mm. Augustine will send a response,
Okay.
say she'll be there. But she also, before she goes, because she has to go and get ready because she's extra. Before she does that, she actually wants to track down Lacroix.
Okay. So, um, your best bet for finding Lacroix would be to go to the Gilded Gallery, which is actually the Knight Captain's stronghold. It's kind of where the Legionnaires hang out. And if he's not there, someone there can definitely point you in the right direction.
So she's gonna head that way. She's going to alter her cloak to kind of a more muted color, and she's wearing more muted colors, so it makes her seem a little bit more fragile, more delicate almost. Not as bold or confident as she actually is. She's giving off an impression of someone who might be a little bit in need of assistance. 'Cause,
Ah,
yeah. So
okay. You weren't kidding when you said extra. All right.
she knows how to play parts.
There you go. Well done. All right. You have successfully muted yourself down to a lilting flower, as it were.
Yeah, and she will go to what was the name of it again?
The Gilded Gallery.
Gilded Gallery. She'll go to the Gilded Gallery, and immediately kind of like make it obvious she's looking actively for someone, but kind of
Mhm.
like glance around and see if she can spot Lacroix or someone that she saw maybe like hanging close to him when we were gathered for our little quest, because he might have had people from his specific unit with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll perception.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to open my dice box 1 second.
So sorry.
Might help if I had my dice out.
Whomst amongst us?
Well, that was a crappy roll. 22. Yeah, 22.
I forget. I should never ask you to do anything. That's right. You just find things. You look over. You see a few faces that are familiar, but one really stands out. You see Richard standing off in the corner, kind of having a chat and a laugh with some of the other boys.
I'll make my way like directly over to Richard, kind of wait for a break in the conversation before reaching to kind of like touch his arm very lightly.
Hmm. So as you're walking up, actually, I'm gonna go ahead. I'll see if Richard notices you because you. Oh yeah, okay. He's in the middle of a joke and he goes, "Ah, later, boys. Yes. Uh, Augustine, was it?
Yes, do you actually remember my name?
Ah, oh my goodness, we done lost somebody. There we go. Hang on, technical difficulties, everybody. All right, I think we're good. All right, yes. Yeah. Um, you all did really good, made a name for yourselves. How can I help?
I was actually hoping to find Lacroix.
Ah, the boss. Everyone's always looking for the boss. I think
I
he
mean,
just
not that your
stepped out.
company.
No, I don't take any harm. People, I prefer the dogs anyway.
That is fair. They are wonderful dogs. But you said that he stepped out?
Yes, he stepped out about an hour or so ago, to track down some information, but my guess is he'll probably be back in here within the next half hour to an hour, assuming what
Hmm.
he's looking for goes well.
Well, I hope that he will actually be back in that time frame. I have an appointment this evening that I have to make, but I very much would like to talk with him about the favor that I was given.
Ah, yes.
How was the dogs, by the way?
Oh, wonderful as always. Chipper, and, well, we got one that's kind of recovering, seeing as how it got one of those seed things in it. But Gregomathea is going to come along just fine.
Good, good. I remember pulling that thing out, and it was disgusting. I'm only sorry I couldn't stop it from getting in the hands of first place.
Well, the fact that you were able to get it out saved that poor puppy's life, so I truly appreciate it.
Of course. They are wonderful dogs, as I said.
As you're having this conversation, you see Lacroix kind of it's not like I'm not gonna make you make a check. You're passive is easily gonna see this. You see the door slam open and Lacroix walks in, very sternly walking towards the back, what appears to be an open office door, and he walks right past you.
Can Augustine try to
Bothingen.
gauge if he's in a pissy mood right now?
Well, the last time you saw him, he seemed very determined, and while not necessarily obviously hostile, he seemed very upset and disturbed by the information you brought back. At this point, what's your passive insight?
Is that 10 plus insight? What is that?
Yes.
A 10 plus insight would be a 23.
Plus, okay,
I
awesome.
have expertise in insight, perception, performance, persuasion. No,
Yeah,
not persuasion.
you can
No,
tell
yeah.
that while he's not necessarily like looking to take his anger out on anybody, he doesn't look like he's in a great mood. Like he looks like he's liable to yell at the first person that walks into that office if they say the wrong thing. Like you're picking up that serious vibe.
Okay, a challenge. Fine. Um, I'll kind of turn back. Seems he has returned. Let's hope that the conversation goes well. If not, I may need a drink before I leave. And
Hey, hold on. I'll
Hmm?
I'll gauge the waters. I've seen him like this, and I've been yelled at more than once. So let me smooth it over for you. I'm sure you can handle it, but no one deserves this. He walks over to the door and knocks on it, sticks his head in, and goes, Captain? And the captain goes, this better be good. He's like, he's like, do not, hey, all right? I will have them poop in your slippers, all right? Don't. I'm just letting you know someone is here to see you. And it's a kind of a muted conversation after that because he walks inside and he goes, and you hear like your name kind of spoken, and the night captain goes, very well, send her in. Richard walks out and he goes, it's cool, I got you. All right, boys, next round's on you. And he walks off towards the bar.
Okay, I will make my way to the doorway. I'm going to kind of try to present a front of feeling kind of bad for coming at what seems to be a bad time. Does Augustine actually feel bad? No. Is she going to try and make it seem like she does? Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you notice when you step in is his demeanor has completely changed. Like he's fully composed himself. He doesn't have that outward like just like I'm going to bite someone's head off. But you can tell that it's right underneath the surface, but this is a man of composure. He understands what it takes to be a leader, and he understands that dealing with the public, especially forward facing in the position that he is, that he has to carry a certain set of tact with him. And this definitely seems to be in his wheelhouse. And he motions to you and says, welcome. How can I help?
I'm gonna kind of turn and like shut the door, not like firmly, but just like make sure it is shut. Um, and turn back. I know it's not usual for someone to call in a favor so shortly after it has been granted. However, I feel as though you might actually be able to help me.
Perhaps.
So I'd like to call that favor in. May I sit?
Yes. Go ahead. Uh, he pulls a chair out for you, ever the gentleman, and walks around his desk and sits on the other side.
So she'll sit. I have been in Young Cath for a very long time, but I came here because I was looking for someone and trying to make it easy for them to find me if I could not find them. And it is my brother.
Mm.
You have access to avenues and circles that I do not. So the favor I want to call in is very simple. Um, Simply see if any one of his description has perhaps passed through one of the circles you are in.
I
And I'm a performer. People don't take that very seriously, and
I understand. All types, all walks. Um,
Mhm.
consider my favor repaid. I will speak with some of the men, and I will have them put the word out. All I need from you is a description and a name. Um,
Um, Augustine's actually going to reach into her bag and pull out a it's only folded twice, but a folded piece of paper. And she actually sketched a picture of her brother, but she kind of tried to age him up a little bit, just like what he might look. Um, kind of passes it over. Uh, fuck, what's his name? I have his name somewhere. I'm gonna guess at it, and if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself later. His name is Elliot. Uh, Elliot Chevalier. He is a winter glow. He was born a different month than I was, but
Of course.
he's a handful of years older than me. Um, he's the only family I have.
I
I
understand.
wish I knew what he might be doing, but it's been a very long time.
Understood. I don't know what we'll be able to dig up, or if we'll be able to find him, but we will certainly commit the resources that we have available to assisting you in this. That's not a problem.
I trust you. I can tell that you are a man of your word.
He looks at the picture and he pulls out, he opens his desk and he pulls out a stone and he sets the stone on the paper and he pulls the stone off and he sets it on another piece of paper and it makes an exact duplicate of the image that you had sketched. And he says, I don't want to take this away from you, so we'll use this instead.
Thank you.
Of course. I hope we can find what you're looking for. And if we do, someone will be in touch as soon as we know.
I very much appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
if you do find him, if you find more than information, then know that there will be a favor in it for you.
Understood. I appreciate it. Now,
I will leave you to your work and to a bit of peace as much as you can get with the rest of them being that loud.
yes. Well, I much prefer the revelry over what I've found out lately, so I understand. I appreciate your time, but I do have to ask you to leave. I've got a lot to take care of.
Absolutely. If you need assistance, I cannot guarantee I can help, but I am always willing to listen. Kind of give a little nod and turn to leave him.
All right. And you walk out of the room. And
Mhm.
as you walk out, there's a sense of like you could tell that he was holding back quite a bit. And as you walk out and you close the door behind you, um, you sense that there was a heaviness in the air that you no longer feel as you've walked out of that room. And we'll go ahead and let you ponder what has just transpired while we go over to, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do it this way. All right. Riva, what are you doing?
I think because she doesn't have a tour guide essentially this time,
Mhm.
and she's not gonna be looking for fights since she does that in the other session. I
Hey,
think she's
stop
just
breaking the
like
fourth
actually
wall.
just going around. Sorry. She thinks about going to a fight later in 2 days, maybe. So today she's just going to I think she's actually just gonna go enjoy like the city. This way she won't be interrupted. It's like finding like a play or something, or like something nice to do. Just exploring the city.
Okay.
She doesn't have anything she like particularly wants to do, I guess. So
All right, no worries. So you'll just spend time perusing different places around the city. Um,
Mhm.
with I assume you're probably going to get hungry at some point, so I will say that wandering through the city and kind of learning bits and pieces and hearing people talk about things, you end up on the Stone Leg. which is the culinary center of the Twin Cities. Here you can find all sorts of foods and drinks. I was going to have more than 2 options there, but my brain stopped, so we're going to go ahead and say you find all sorts of foods and drinks. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Food and drink on this bridge.
That's
There you go. Is there any type of food
pretty
in
good bridge.
particular that Riva hasn't had or would like to have that she hasn't had in quite a while?
I think she's enjoying like a really like big steak. I think she has like enough food for like 3 people also. She's a she needs a lot of food to stay not hungry. So she has a massive meal of just like whatever she could find on the bridge that looked interesting.
All right, cool.
But I think there's like there's like some stuff that reminds her of home, like some like stew or something that she's
Alright.
like particularly enjoying.
Wonderful. So as you're sitting there, kind of perusing the wares, and not so much the hows of these culinary delights, a little boy walks up to you, little gnome boy, and says, "Hey, I haven't
Hello.
seen you here before."
Yes, I am new. Exploring.
Exploring? I love to explore.
Mm.
Where have you explored?
I have explored very far. I am not from here. I am from mountains far from Shadelands. Yeah. So I have come a long way.
You're from outside? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we see types like you all the time, but they normally hang out the hole in the wall tavern. At least that's what my dad says. You know, he used to be an adventurer like you.
What is his name?
Oh, his
I
name
don't know if I've
was,
heard of him.
well, his name is Jenkins,
Hmm.
but I call him Dad.
Interesting. Ah. Well, I am sure he's great adventurer.
He was.
Hmm.
All until he took that arrow to the knee.
God damn.
Hmm. That's quite unfortunate, little boy. I have.
At least that's what he calls it. I've looked at his legs; they seem fine.
Hmm. Well, no, it's sometimes you just kind of need an excuse to take break. Maybe
Maybe.
sometimes you don't always want to go on adventure.
My mom says it's because he doesn't want to admit that he fell in love, and that's why he stopped adventuring. So he uses the euphemism "took an arrow to the knee."
I see. He's a funny man.
Yes. Hey, that's a big weapon. How do you use it?
It is. It's hard to show without breaking something. But uh, I guess I kind of take the axe off my back and kind of show it to him. It
Ooh,
is it's something I got from a few cities back. It is a very nice axe. Uh I often use it in my fighting when I'm not in when I'm trying to actually do some real damage. I use this, not my fist, I guess.
oh, well, that's cool. Can I look at it? Can I kindergarten see?
Mm. I think I let him like put it in his hand, but I'm still holding on to the
Yeah, yeah.
handle.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Ooh, one day I'll be big and strong too. Before I take an arrow to the knee, I
you're a
need a
sweet kid.
perception check
I'm
from
sure you'll
you.
become. All right. That's no one. Perception.
Yep.
You're choosing stats I'm not very good at. I'm not plus 20 perception person over here. 14.
Okay. And he goes, "Ah, thanks, mister. I can't wait to be a big, grown-up adventurer like you. Well, I hope you have a good day.
Yes, you too, little man.
Bye." And he just totters off
Bye.
across the bridge.
What a funny little child. Just walks on.
Just out of curiosity, how much gold were you holding?
How much gold? My gold's all probably all in my bag of holding.
Were.
So
Pass
my
10.
gold I was probably holding I'm probably holding all of it. I have nowhere else to keep it. So it's 1,215 gold in my bag of holding.
All right, and where's your bag of holding located?
Probably like on the front of my waist
Cool.
area, kind of like there.
All
I
right.
think.
So
I
as
wonder why you asked that.
so as your kind of the clerk goes, all right, order up. Here's your wow. They were not kidding. You look strong. Anyway, it'll be 3 copper.
Yes, let me get that for you. Yeah, I'll reach into my bag of holding.
You reach down
Look
for your
around there.
bag of holding and it's gone.
All right. I think Riva immediately drops whatever food she's holding onto like a counter, and just immediately just starts searching for really her bag, but probably the boy she's just talking to, or someone that looks like they're in a hurry to get away.
All right, make another perception check.
Oh man, it's not 1 + 4. What do you want me to do here?
You don't see anything. Everyone kind of, it's just the normal hustle and bustle. The kid that you were talking to is just gone. You don't see anybody else. There's some shady people hanging around, but they all seem to just be really enjoying their meal.
Okay. What can I do here? I don't really have any spells or anything.
While you are pondering your
Interesting.
next actions, Issa,
Hi. As far as what Issa's doing, this is her first time back in the city in a long time, so she's probably just wandering around her old neighborhood and checking things out.
cool.
And then, yeah, she'll probably end up heading out towards the Stone Leg at some point just because it's the place to eat and inevitably she's gonna have to.
All right. So you spend your time perusing
Nothing
the old
interesting.
neighborhood. You see some old people, like some old friends that you knew from a long time ago. They've really kind of, settled into the city. They've gotten they're tradesmen, tradeswomen, tradespeople in some cases. And they're just they kind of really ingratiated themselves into the yonder side of town. They run shops, storefronts. Some of them are farmers. You have a good
Running
chat
a
about the
little
good old
less
days.
the way we used to.
Yep. A little bit
Understood.
less wayward child, a little more, I should probably follow the law now.
Yeah.
So yes, you spend about an hour or so doing that, and you eventually find your tummy is a rumbling, and despite the fact that you're probably about 3 or 4 blocks away from that bridge, the sense of the foods that you used to enjoy when you lived in Yon Koth begin to beckon you slowly. And you decide to go ahead and head towards the Stone Leg. On your way there, you passed a very just confused, looking for anything to do Riva, who kind of politely nodded and waved, and you went on your way. And probably about halfway through whatever meal you were eating, you hear a sudden slam of a plate on a on a table, and you hear a very familiar Riva, exasperated, just what? Where? And you walk over to kind of investigate, and you find yourself looking at a very confused Riva who is holding an axe in one hand and staring at food and then looking all around everywhere else.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say Issa knows exactly what happened because she's used to this nonsense.
There's a small chance you might have an inkling, but I'm gonna
Like,
go
not that I
ahead
would know the people, but
Oh, yeah, right.
definitely yes, that. Got
so
it.
go ahead and make a perception check, or actually make an investigation check for me.
All right.
We're gonna roll this with the old investigation.
11.
Okay, that I'm gonna go ahead and call that. You notice that when you look at Riva, there's been a bag that Riva's had the entire time that you've known her, which isn't long, but it's long enough to realize that she probably doesn't go anywhere without that, and it's just gone. So you do have an inkling of what exactly happened here.
Understood. And I'll look at Riva and I'll look at the person who I assume is serving her food
Mhm.
and just hand a silver over to I got it.
Thanks. Enjoy your food. Zuh.
I'm not worried about my food. I'm worried about my bag.
Kid stole your
is-
shit, didn't he?
I don't know. I was showing him my axe. It is. I am confused. Oh God. It was. I
He's
don't
just
know if
gonna
he was
be
a
trying
boy. It's,
he's gonna be trying really hard not to laugh at this, but like she's seen this before. She's known kids who's done this before. Like she's 100% is just trying very hard not to find her new friend's situation hilarious. So
yeah.
what'd you get to eat?
Oh, it's. I don't know. It's whatever is around here. But it's. Once again, I'm not worried about what I'm eating. I want to find my bag. It's not. Listen, I really appreciate you paying for the food. You can have it. I'm gonna go look for my bag now. I'll find that little boy, and I'm going to get the information I need.
I mean, I'm not sure if I can help with information, but unless that bag grew legs on its own, I have a sneaking suspicion which direction it's headed.
Tell me.
Sit down. Eat your food first. It when it gets there, it's not gonna go any further. You've got time.
Like that bothers me. Fine. Okay, I'll eat. This game you guys play on this
I-
bridge, I do not like.
I am happy to help, but I'm not missing out on these noodles. It's been some time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sit down and eat as long as I'm waiting for my friend.
All right. I'll let you two commiserate over the loss of one's belongings, and we'll head back over to Jean.
Okay. Jean has been sipping on his ale, just absently petting little Sebastian, pondering. Uh, since Jean has traveled around a bit, he's been thinking about kind of the size of Yonkop, kind of guesstimating, where would be a good place to start. But he supposes that there's a decent chance there is at least some competition for the broker. Perhaps he could find, more than one person who makes their living trading information.
Yes.
So he's gonna continue the search instead of latching on to the first idea that he comes across,
Okay.
just to cover his bases, because he's been through all this before.
Absolutely. So you're kind of thinking about it, and you realize that this is a city of warlocks and patrons. There is information that can be found in dark alleys. There's information that can be found from anywhere and everywhere if you just know where to look. And that thought hits you, and you kind of think back about some of the stuff you heard about Jan Koth before you got here. And one of them is that there is a place that you can go if you're wishing to gain something, whether that be power, information, or favor, as it were. Um, it is very well known. You've heard little bits and pieces about it while you've been here through the conversation of others. You know, someone says, "Hey, I just came from the Scarlet Hearth. Um, that's where I got out of that bad deal. Fate really helped me out." You hear little bits and pieces of that. You see other people being like, "I'm gonna go there and see if I can't broker a deal to, undo this or fix this." But also, the one thing you've learned is that patrons aren't interested simply in creating packs. They're also interested in having services performed for them. And if that could be something as simple as an information exchange, they are more than willing to do that as well. You figure, based on the information that you have, the safest bet probably might be the Scarlet Hearth because you will have an advocate that can be on your behalf when you're making these deals. In Fate, who you've already met.
Sounds like a plan. Jean will thump the table. Decision made, and we'll head out the door for the Scarlet Hearth.
All right. So, the Scarlet Hearth, in order to get there, you have to go through Patron's Pass, which is the third bridge connecting yonder to the Cathrock side of the city. As you approach this bridge, you notice that unlike all the other bridges, which are pretty typically densely packed with warlocks or people of various backgrounds, this particular bridge is just wall to wall zealot, clerics, paladins, just the holiest of holy people, just lining the bridge. You see picket lines of people that are like there's just people in robes walking by and repent, don't take this path. You see these people yelling at these people and just some of them are just like, silently praying for whoever's walking by. But you see all types of interactions. A lot of them very much just looking like they're like trying to beg in some form or fashion for people not to make these decisions that they may potentially be making. It's very obvious that this is a divisive area, but unfortunately, it is the only way that you can get to the Scarlet Hearth without jumping into the water below.
Fantastic. Jean will plaster on a pained, it's half smile, half grimace, just trying to bear through it. The religious fervor is quite loud in his mind, and he is just trying to find his happy place as he just, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, oh, thank you, no, thank you. Trying to meander his way through here without getting too much of a headache.
All right. All right. You make your way through the bridge. There's some people that try to block your way, like, don't do it. Don't make the decision. And you just kind of push past them. No one's overtly violent towards you. They're just kind of the real zealots are uh, they're really in your face, but they know the rules, so they're not gonna try to attack you or anything. But they're very much trying to get in your way. You eventually push through the hustle and bustle of clerics here and some paladins there, but no one actually stops your pursuit to where you're going, and you end up turning right onto the bridge that leads directly to the Scarlet Hearth, a massive stone building that sits on kind of its own little pedestal that's between the two cities. Um, and directly underneath the bridges that you've just walked across is this, what you've now heard is referred to as the Obsidian Rush. And as you kind of take in the whole site of this magnificent building that you have heard is dedicated to the patrons inside this city, you look down and you look at the water below, and it hits you as slightly odd as you look at the water and then you look at the sky and you look at the water, and the water's reflecting stars that aren't in the sky. Seems
That is a neat trick.
off-putting. But not only that, but you realize that the water is flowing in the wrong direction too.
Oh,
Just a little bit of
and
information that you kind of pick up as you're walking by and just realizing just how incredible this city and the fact that it exists really is. And as you walk up, there are two acolytes by the door, and one of them stops you and goes, "State your business."
Greetings. I am new to Yonkap. I seek information. Cannot be found, well, anywhere, apparently. I have searched hither and yon, hither being a small town in what is the name? Chult, far to the south. And yon, all the way up here. I've crossed many realms looking for information. I implore you, let me inside
Well,
for me to continue my search.
of course. Well, we would not bar one seeking information. They open the door, and one of them kind of motions for you to go in. And as you go in, they close the door behind you. Inside this building, it has about 6 doors that you can see, and each one of them has a different symbol on it. And standing in the middle, kind of talking to another acolyte, is a familiar face, Fate. She's shaking the hand of the person, and you can tell by that they're very happy with what just transpired. They're very exuberant with what happened shortly before you got here, and they thank Fate and they walk out the door. And as you walk kind of closer, Fate turns to you and goes, "Oh, interesting. I haven't seen you since yesterday. What brings you to the Scarlet Hearth?"
I seek that which has been elusive. I wish to find information that no one in all the realms has been able to provide. That's my origin.
Well,
Uh,
you certainly came to one of many of the right places, potentially. Depending on the
so maybe
information that you seek, I'm fairly certain that one of the patrons that reside in this building may potentially be able to help. Perchance, do you know what type of information you're looking for?
yes, I'm not sure how to qualify the information. It is the question is me. I am I I can do things. I have abilities that I have not seen duplicated anywhere. Not a speck of magic upon myself, but somehow I am able to move things with my mind. I can delve the darkest secrets out of another person's past.
So
Uh,
you are looking for information that will help you on your path to self-discovery.
that is excellent way. Yes, thank
Um, she turns and looks at the doors. Hmm. No. No. Hmm. I think we can get you an audience with one that may be able to help you without having too steep of a price. Um, give me just a minute to kind of gather myself. I just helped another individual, and it can be taxing. So
you. Of
maybe
course,
about 5 minutes, and
take
I'll
your
be
time.
right back with you. And she walks over to a water basin and starts washing her hands and her face. And we'll get back to you as she ponders what's going to happen next. And we're going to go back to Augustine, who has just walked out of the Knight Commander's office. You are muted.
I knew that. I was checking to see if you knew that.
Oh, good,
Um,
good.
gotta test you sometimes. Augustine's she's actually gonna go. It'll probably take her an hour to pick out what she's going to wear, but she's going to pick out what she's going to wear and get fully ready to go to where she is supposed to be performing because she doesn't want to be late and how far away is how far of a walk, I should say, would it be to this place?
This place that you will be performing is, goodness gracious, why do I have 2 markers that weren't supposed to be there? Okay. This place is actually going to be on the Cathrock side. It is the residence of a half-orc by the name of Blazavir, which is a name that I totally didn't just make up.
If I ask you to spell it, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, I can
I'm gonna
definitely spell it.
however. Can you?
Yeah, it's
If you say IT, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna hit you.
No, it's Blaziveer. A name that I will unfortunately probably have to remember at some point in the future, and I will not write down. So, good luck, everyone.
I have it written down.
All right. Perfect. Yes, so it's while typically not known for it, this particular orc is actually a very successful business man that kind of works out of the Cathrock side of things with making fine watches. And that gives me an idea of where to put this.
Then it's probably a very good idea to not be late.
All right. Now, I unfortunately do have to put, okay, create it, and perfect, and create. All right, wonderful. Yep, I did just do that. So the place that you're going to be going is his residence, which is actually right next to the shop called the Gilded Timepiece, which is a little bit further on the map than the favored trade. About halfway point between the library and the favored trade. Looks like about 8 blocks from the Little Helper. An establishment that you know very well from conversations with your little friend.
Okay. I would say too, am I going to pass the Little Helper, or is it more of a
It depends. It depends on whether or
perpendicular?
not you take the Black Span or the Stone Leg to get across.
Mm. Is there a reason to prefer one over the other since Augustine's been here so long?
Black Span, you're not uncomfortable there, but Stone Leg is typically a friendlier place.
We'll go Stone Leg.
All right. So yeah, if you go through Stone Leg, you have the potential to end up passing the Little Helper along the way.
She will stop at the Little Helper. She kind of has Bo with her and just ends up a little coin purse to Bo and says, "You go enjoy your evening. I will do the same. But if you drink too much again, we will have to talk about getting you a ED to get you back home."
Just looks at you and goes, "Okay." And as you see the kind of flaps the wings and floats over there, you see the 2 very familiar faces of the bears that stand guard and sentry in front of it. One of them turns to you and goes, "Thank you for your patronage. You please come in. We let you in the door. We know you. We are good. Have a good time. Drink until your heart is content, but not until she gets mad at you, because we know what she does when she's mad."
That was once. That was once, and I was also very drunk.
The other bear looks at you and goes, No. It was twice, and you damn well know it. We don't
Okay,
want
you
a
have a
repeat of
better-
this.
No, we do not. We do not. That is fair. We will both be on our best behavior.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Yes. Bye.
Augustine just kind of gives them a nod and turns to leave and head off towards the half orcs residence.
So with your passive perception, you hear them turn to each other and go, "Oh, you think they know? No, nobody ever knows."
I don't want. Can I turn and kind of like insight to see what that might be about? Like
Ye-
kind of glance back.
You can certainly try. Yes.
Pull back up my sheet.
You
I've
can't
got
keep
like
saying try when you're only gonna roll above a 25.
listen, okay. To be fair, I just keep leaning on the things that I am actually very good at. So, like, you asked me to roll like Arcana or something, and I'm going to be failing left and right. I'm sorry, no, Arcana's +6. Athletics, there, that's a +0. Insight, ooh, 23.
All right. You look back and you know that they're hiding something, but you do not know what it is. Like you just something seems off.
Does it seem like malevolently off, or they think they're funny and they think they're being
they're
sneaky off?
hilarious.
Okay. As long as I'm not leaving Bo in danger, that's fine. Let
No,
them
and
be
they look over
hilarious.
you and go, "It's okay. You don't need to know. It's funny. Haha. Hee hee. Comrade.
I'm certain that it is absolutely hilarious.
It is. It's funny every time."
Okay, yeah, Augustine's gonna head out.
All right. Okay, so you head to the Gilded Timepiece where Blazavir. I hope I spelled that right on the map. Yes, I did. Now I have it written down. It's canon, unfortunately.
You're the one who gave me the job. I don't know what you want. I was gonna ask questions and you knew that.
Yep.
So yes, I'm sorry. I get there. Is Blazavir there, or am I
Yes.
meeting him at the
So
Gilded
you
Timepiece or his home?
yeah, you do get there, and you see that there's a line of people forming, but there's another individual that kind of was they're like looking around and they see you and they wave you forward. Miss Augustine, um, Blazavir said we can just go ahead and usher you in so that you can get ready, and get your
Okay.
set however you would like. And he kind of pushes a couple people, excuse me, and then walks you in through the front door and kind of takes you to where you are. And you see here, this is not just a well-established home, but it looks like they've taken part of their kitchen area and stuff and actually set up like an actual stage. Um, it looks like they've kind of put in the work. Now, the Gilded Timepiece itself is a relatively small building, but the house that sits behind it, which is where you're at, is actually not so much a mansion, but just a very large, like for like a bigger family, right? So they
Okay.
actually have turned the entire kitchen into this kind of stage area, while the living room and everything like that is where people are kind of mingling and chatting, and then they've kind of moved some chairs so anyone that wants to enjoy the show once it begins can sit down, and there's more than enough. There's about 30 to 40 people here, with another 12 or so standing outside. So
Okay.
you can, I'll go ahead and give you time to get ready, as it were, and decide what your act is going to be. And we are going to go back to Issa and Riva, who are just now finishing up their delicious meals.
Thank you for the food. Is it time now to go look for my bag?
I suppose.
Okay.
I'm
good.
going to assume that I 1000% know the area that this kid would have probably gone towards, given what I used to do
Okay,
and who I used to do it with.
so I'm going to give you. I need you to make an intelligence check. You
Oh
will
dear.
have it at advantage because of your your less than savory past.
All right. Intelligence. Oh, this ought to be fun. So sorry. 14?
Okay. So you know that there, from when you were younger, there was two schools of thought, two groups of kids that kind of ran the streets around this area. There were the ones that really liked to do the pranky things and things like that, like tied their shoes together while they were sitting there eating, which is more your crew of folks. However, some of your friends did actually kind of get into the darker stuff, as it were, and you are aware that there is a Thieves Guild presence on this bridge, and it's not a major one. It's kind of like it's like a subset of where the actual Thieves Guild is, because as kids, no one really made it in that. But you
It's a
have an
side hustle
inkling.
for training kind
It
of
is.
thing.
It is definitely a side hustle. So you end up kind of heading that direction. And Riva, I assume you described what this kid looks like. All right.
Yeah.
So as you're walking back towards this area where it used to be, you get there and it looks abandoned. It's this old shack that's kind of sat there for years that no one really asked questions about for one reason or another. And you get there and you both see a familiar. Well, Riva, you see a familiar face of this kid who sees you walking up and immediately ducks inside the shack.
Okay. I'm gonna immediately run into it.
Okay.
I'm just
The
gonna
moment I see him.
follow at a more sedate pace because apparently
Little man,
Reva's
I
got
want
some
my
stuff to work
stuff.
out.
Give me it back.
I need you to make a dex save.
I'm good at this. Hold on. I think I get the automatic 18 on this no matter what. So I'm feeling like I'm gonna pass it.
Fuck's sake.
Let me make sure I'm doing that right, because I'm not completely cheating. I think I'm not the actual fucking dancer thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I just roll just to see if I get above an 8. Oh yeah, I rolled a 16 plus 10, 26.
All right. As you run into this door, you slam it open, and as you're about to step in, you look down and you're like, "Oh hell!" And you like fancy footwork off to the side as a rope gets pulled up. And had you not been quicker, it would have yanked you upside down and left you hanging in the shack. And the kids on the other side going, "Oh man, that usually gets them. What? What do you want? Why are you here?
I want my stuff back.
You think I
now.
took your stuff?"
Okay. I don't care who took my stuff, but you obviously know.
Look, you gotta find Jeremy. He's the one that takes the stuff. I'm just the guy that talks to people.
Well, describe Jeremy now.
He's a kid. He's got pointy ears. He's got black hair. His name's Jeremy.
Okay. Where is he? Also, that would be good. Where does he go after he takes people's stuff?
Back to the hideout.
And where is that?
He just looks at you
Okay.
and then looks around the room.
I just want my stuff back, alright? I'm not going to rat you all out in your little game of tricks, alright? I just want my bag.
I can get it back for you, but there's a finder's fee.
Is that a joke, or do I need to go get it myself forcefully?
No, it's not a joke. I can get it back, but there's a finder's
Okay. Can I cast hold person on the one that said that?
fee. Yeah, I mean, you can't. You can certainly cast hold
Yeah,
person.
this is fully just a threat. Like I think so hold. I don't know if you want to make it. It's just wisdom save, but
What's your
just to
what's your
paralyze.
DC?
Like, keep him still. 16.
The kid stands there and goes, "Ooh, ooh, you got me. Ooh, I can't move." And then he starts
Alright.
flailing his arms.
I just pick up the kid by the arms and be like, "Tell me where the hideout is.
What?
I am done playing games."
Look, I did. You're in the hideout. Why are
This is
you?
the hideout.
Yes, this is the
Show
hideout.
me where
That's
the
why
bag
I just
is.
looked around.
Where
Issa's
is the bag?
genuinely wishing she had popcorn right now.
Where is bag? Now.
I don't have it. He probably saw you run in here, and now he's not going to show up.
Oh my god, you are useless. I've thrown him to the ground. I'm gonna just barge out and look
Ow!
for the kid that he described.
Yes.
Jeremy, where are you?
I told you I could find your bag. I can get it back to you. I just need to know that
I
there's
do not care.
All right, fine.
I'm going to
Good
find
luck
it
finding
myself.
your bag.
Issa's
Come
gonna
on.
walk in as far as the door jamb and just lean against it and look at this kid.
You look at this kid and you realize this is the nephew of one of your oldest friends. Oh, Auntie Issa!
Oh, you
I should
fucking
be
know these kids.
irritated. I'm really not.
What? No.
Okay.
What? I just you know me. I just do the talking. I just do the talking.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I told him I'd get his bag. I told her I'd get her bag back, but there's a finder's fee. You know the rules.
I do know the rules. I also know that you should not be as stupid as to fuck with people like this.
Look, wasn't my idea. Jeremy said he was going to beat me up again if I didn't help.
We really need to work on you getting better at this fighting.
Well, you weren't here to
Where-
teach me sword fighting. And Mom and
That is
Dad
a
said
little
that
bit
it's
on
for
me. I will concede that.
Mom and Dad said it's not safe. I'm gonna go talk
So you
to
Imagine
decided
this is-
being the talker in a couple of thieves, knowing what me and your uncle get up to, was the smarter idea.
Well, it's the lesser of I don't get hit as much. You know, the other boys are mean to me, and as long as I'm the smooth talking funny guy, I get away with all sorts of stuff. I just I didn't expect you to rat me out, Auntie Issa. Why would you? How could you? And he's just like really milking it up, like, I can't believe you of all people would turn on me.
DM, I'm going to ask real quick what this kid's name is because it has completely slipped my mind.
it's Frank. It's little Frankie.
Something tells me you need a full name, first, middle, last. You're gonna get onto this kid, and you need to be able to just.
I
Frankie
feel like Frankie's going to
Bartholomew
do.
Franklin. I don't know.
I'm writing that down. That is canon now.
Dang it. Let me go ahead and put
All
this
right.
place in here. Stone Leg, new tab. Kid Thieves Hideout. Marker. Little black circle. Members. Goodness gracious. We're making canon as we go along. This is amazing.
All right. So Issa's gonna look at this kid and get down on his level, not in like the condescending sense, but just so she can eye to eye this kid.
Yep.
All right. What's the finder's fee? If you say a favor, I'm going to slap the taste out of your mouth.
He just stares at you. I can't tell you. You'll slap the favor out of my mouth. I mean, flavor. You know how this place works. It's the only way to get
I
ahead.
do.
Nobody listens to
I
us
mean,
kids anyway.
Frankie,
Yeah?
there's ways to get ahead, and there's ways to lose a hand. How much patience do you think this nice lady has?
An
You
infinite
already got
amount.
to play with that very sharp axe. Do you want to test how that works?
I mean, not really. What about a small favor? He's just like the very like.
He's just gonna wait until she thinks he's like been lulled into a false sense of security by their bond, and just smack him in the back of the head.
Ow! What about a teensy? Fine, I'll just take some of the gold out of the bag.
That seems fair.
Okay, hang on. You know I can't just give away the secrets. I'll be right back.
Understood. If you run out on me, your parents are going to be the least of your concerns.
Auntie Issa, I believe you. And
Good.
you hear him walk out, and you hear a very shrill whistle, and then you hear one off in the distance, and then you hear like a couple more whistles, and then you hear the pattering of feet.
Vocal thieves can't. Yeah, I got you. She's just gonna turn to Reva and just hold, please. Family issues. Hold, please.
And about
Unbelievable.
4 minutes later,
And like Issa's very proud of this kid. Like, for the record, she is so proud. But like she knows that if this continues, like she's going to have to explain to his parents why their kid is missing appendages. So like lesser of evils right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. About 2 minutes later, you hear the pattering of feet run back up. Auntie Issa, I found the bag.
Is everything in it?
Nope.
Minus your score.
Oh,
Important bits still in.
I mean, I hadn't opened it, but here's the bag.
I'll hand it off to Reva. Is everything that you need or had mostly still in there? I'm hoping for like a 75% at this point.
I mean, I'll look through it. To have everything in it.
What exactly was in your bag of holding, just out of curiosity? Because I haven't checked your sheet yet.
It's basically just all my shit, really. Let's see. Hold on. It's a lot of mundane stuff like a net, gladiator costume, fan letter, great axe, or your normal great axe, entertainment's pack, great club, spears, whip, wooden bangles. Actually, I'm probably wearing this
Okay.
and all my gold. So
Okay, so I need a perception check from both of you.
Oh, fuck's sake.
he steals another thing off my person. I'm gonna get pissed.
Do I get advantage because I know this little fucker?
No, this isn't
17.
for that. This isn't for
Or the
that.
try.
You notice that he's wearing one of the wooden bangles,
Fair enough.
and
All right,
you have
and-
about
You said investigation?
no perception.
Sorry. 19.
Yep, you notice the bangle. Inside your
I'm
bag,
not gonna say shit on that bangle.
you both
Well,
recognize
I noticed
the
it too,
bangle.
right?
Yeah.
Little shit, that's my jewelry. Give it back.
Finder's fee.
Oh, you are on my last nerve.
Frankie.
You only have one nerve?
Frankie.
What?
Give it back, please.
I
And she's going to very subtly, because she has the other 4 that everyone left on the ground, just pull 2 out of her bag and show it to her where Reva can't see. Or show them to him where Reva can't see.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
No fun. And we're gonna go ahead and try this. Ooh, not so smooth. But what's your passive perception, Reva?
14.
Okay. You notice his hand reach over and grab something, but you couldn't quite see what it was. But it's not your
I
stuff or
slap
anything.
it.
It's on the
Oh,
other
he's
side
grabbing
of.
someone else's stuff? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah.
and and he puts it in his
Little
pocket.
shit can pickpocket me on purpose. It's fine.
Well, he was just grabbing the bangles and putting them in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay,
If he
fine.
tried for anything else, I know where he lives.
Okay. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Is there anybody else I should be on the lookout so Auntie Issa doesn't come try to bite my head off again?"
I would say there's at least one. I would say there's two others, but if you mess with either of them, I will not be able to save you. So I will warn you about one. There's a lovely tiefling who is very green and has a very cute little pet, and if you mess with him, it's going to be problems.
Do not
Anyone
touch
else go
Sebastian.
nuts.
Okay. Okay.
Leave,
Cool.
leave the tiefling, leave the pet. Anything else, you're doing really good.
Thanks.
I wouldn't
Like
say
I didn't
that.
even catch you. I'm so proud.
Stealing
Aw,
stuff. You shouldn't like
Auntie Issa
encouraging
approves of
this.
my shenanigans. 50% of your gold is gone. And he goes, "Bye!" And he just runs out.
Ah, little shit's getting so big. I'm so proud of him.
So, yep, there we go.
So,
All that shit just happened.
God.
You're welcome. So there are 2 names attached to that now. I should change. No, there we go. The Kid Thieves Hideout. All right. All right. Now we are gonna head on over to August. Oh wait, no. I was at Augustine. Now it's at Jean. You are standing in there waiting patiently, and Fate walks up to you and goes, It depends on what type of entity you'd like to deal with. There's one that's not so bad, but strange, very into gambling and making deals. The other one is definitely going to be an information dealer, but the prices may be atypical, potentially amoral, things like that.
Well, that is interesting and confusing choice. Perhaps I should take my chances, huh? Eh?
All right. I will take you to meet the Lurker of the Deep then. And she walks you over to a
That
door
name
with.
does not that name does not instill with confidence. Okay, let's go.
Well, it was either that or the Fiend. So,
Well,
which one would you prefer?
no, I've made my choice. So it's just
Very well.
you know, what is a name, as they say.
And she walks you over to a door with a big squid on it. She opens the door, and inside is just a empty room. As you walk in and she closes the door behind you, the entire atmosphere inside this room changes as if it's become its own extra dimensional space. And despite the fact that you know that you're not in water, you begin to kind of float. And I'm just checking to make sure that this isn't. Oh yeah, would you all use the in-player chat in Discord? Because it keeps popping up over Issa's face. So people are watching you both jibber jabber. All right, shenanigans
Sorry.
aside, it's okay. As you walk in, so you're floating in this big empty space, and you see off in the distance this very large creature swimming towards you. And as it gets closer, you can kind of make out what it looks like, and it's a humongous catfish. And it swims right up to you and goes, "Oh, somebody wants to make a deal, do they? How can I help?"
Looking for information. You are obviously a great and powerful being.
Ah, yes. Thanks
Perhaps
for noticing.
Perhaps you can tell me things about myself that I cannot discover on my own.
Oh, perhaps. Willing to make a pact for it?
Ooh, a pact. Sounds intense. Involved.
Not really. A little sign on the dotted line. Do some things for me, give you power, or in this case, information. And power, actually. But you don't strike
Uh,
me as the type who requires power. You seem to already have power.
my power is actually my the source of my question. I have it. Do not understand it. I would like to know if there are others like myself.
Ah, the ever present question: who am I? Why am I here? Yes, I believe I have the information you seek.
Ooh, I have searched for many years to hear those words. What is it that you require
See,
that
this
I may get my
information
answer
is
at long last?
very, very, very old. Um, in fact, it's almost unheard of. Um, hmm. You've got two options, or eventually one option, depending on how option number one works. Um, whew. We can play a game. If you win, I give you the information that you seek and can point you in the direction of what else you seek. If I win, hmm, you owe me, huh? Let's see. Something equal to the information I'm providing you is very dear. So favors are subjective. You owe me a major favor. And I will tell you the information you seek. Or
So I still get the information.
you can make a pact and I'll give it to you right away.
I would like to know my options. What does a pact entail? I am not
So,
familiar.
there's different types of pacts thanks to the way that this lovely city works. Most pacts are made in this city, and Fate goes, I will explain it to him, you fish. She goes, in this city, warlocks don't work like they do in most other places. In fact, the few warlocks that tend to make pacts here have different advantages than the ones that make them out in the wild, perhaps being found or finding hidden information. A pact here does not necessarily mean that you are granted the power of a warlock, the ability to blast through doors or read arcane writings without any help or learning the secrets of old. It can be that, but it can also just be beholden to an entity in exchange for the information you seek, and they can call upon you to do a service for them whenever they want. So in this case, probably not the best deal unless you set a time limit on it.
See,
And the fish goes, you're no fun, Fate. I'm not here to be fun, I'm here to be fair. Whatever.
I see. I am not keen on being beholden to anyone, even a magnificent creature such as yourself.
Oh, flatter will get you somewhere.
Perhaps perhaps our best bet is this game of chance, if you'll
Ah,
pardon
all
that
right.
unintentional pun.
Game of chance, then it is. All right. So, just for the mechanics of this game, you will effectively be playing a game of war. However, because we don't want to pull out a deck of cards here and somehow magically transport those via the magic of the internet, we are going to use dice. So we are going to
All
roll
right.
3 separate dice 6. And you get to put them in whatever order you want. And I will roll 3 dice 6 and put them whatever order I want. Whoever wins out of those 3 hidden dice rolls 2 out of 3 times is declared the winner of this bet. So I will let you roll your dice, and I will roll mine.
Well,
All right. I have my 3 dice rolls.
as do I. And
For dice number 1, what did you pick?
a 2.
We have a draw. I do like how this is exciting. What do you have for number 2?
Also a 2.
Oh, my dear friend, I've rolled a 5. And number 3?
Oh, my new friend, it appears that I might be owing you a favor because my third die is a 1.
I rolled a 6. It does appear that the odds favor me today, Fate. That was fair, wouldn't you say? She just looks and goes, well, he made the deal. So you now owe our fishy friend here, the lurker, as it were, a major favor which has been recorded by the collectors as we speak. And I believe you owe information, lurker. Let's keep it fair. And the lurker goes, of course. I'm a fish of my word. Now, I understand you have not run across your type in this world. Is that correct?
Correct.
How many worlds have you been to?
I am a tiefling of limited means. I have scoured what I could of this world. And no others.
Ah, so. Understood. So, your type exists all over the place, just unfortunately not in this place. So, how you got here is very strange. My guess is someone was trying to protect you, trying to save you from a fate worse than death. There is such a place that I know where people went into exile from because the alternative was tragic. If you don't mind, take my fin. He just holds out this
Okay.
little fin. It's a huge fish with just a little fin.
It's
And he
a
goes,
little
very
bit
well. The
kid.
second you touch, you feel your mind open up, and you have memories that you had lost when you were a youth. Your brain explodes with all of the information that that was somehow blocked away from you, whether it was just because you got older and it just kind of faded out or petered out of existence from just learning new things and kind of dealing with your life and grasping all that. You remember terror. You remember being scared. You remember being held by your mother as she ran for what appeared to be a shimmering doorway. And she was about to run through. And the only thing you remember before that happens is it snaps shut with you on the other side. And as gory and gruesome as it is, you had your mother's hands laying beside you. There was a kindly cobbler that came along and had found you and had taken you eventually through various means and talking to friends and family, that ended up getting you in touch with whom your parents are now that you believe. And as that hits you, the fish goes, I'm sorry, that probably isn't the information you really wanted, but I can tell you that your kind is not uncommon depending on where you go. The sight you just saw is something that we hope never happens to any realm. Not just for the lack of people and the lives lost, or in our cases, those who made a pact snuffed out of existence. That is an event referred to as the Reckoning. And those were the final days before it was absorbed into another plane. You, my boy, are what is referred to as a scion, a manipulator of the material world with nothing more than your force of will.
It is good to have a name to to put towards myself and what I am. The memories, not so much. I am glad I have not had lunch. That was intense. I thank you for this bargain. I suppose I should know, what does a major favor entail? What is it that you
So
require
basically, what
for
that means
providing
is at
this?
some point, I will call upon you to perform a deed or service for me. Favors in this city, as you've probably learned, are currency. I can call it in at any time I choose. And you will know
Understood.
when I call in that favor, as you will be alerted magically within the realm.
Well, I await your summons, lurker of the deep.
Of course. Fate goes, is there anything else?
No. I think that is quite enough for now. Thank you for your assistance.
Very well. She waves, and the world that you were in, the floating world, vanishes. And you're standing in the middle of the empty kind of box room that you were in previously. And she walks you out and says, if you need time to process, um, you can have a seat over there. And there's a wash basin if you'd like to wash up. You look quite pale.
Yes, you might even say I appear a little green.
Mm.
Ah, haha.
Of
And
course.
Jean will go over to the wash basin, clean up, and instead of taking a seat, he will just pull his legs up into midair and sit crisscross applesauce while floating and contemplating.
All right.
Uh,
Fantastic. We head back to Augustine while Jean contemplates the horrific incidents that created him into this world.
Poor Jean. Poor Jean. Like, we got people dealing with a pickpocket. We got, well, is it really a pickpocket if they stole a whole bag?
they took the whole pocket.
They're really good at picking pockets. They take the whole
Everyone else
pocket.
is, yeah. Everyone else is having a fine time today, and then there's poor Jean. Let's mix some trauma in, just casually.
Just a sprinkle of trauma on top of absolutely garbage dice rolls. Oh my goodness.
Games of
Oh,
chance are my favorite.
yeah. Well,
I think for Augustine's performance, because she does have a violin,
Mm-hmm.
so she's actually going to use her violin in the performance, and she is going to cast Major Image. Let me triple check on the time of that as well to see how many times she might have to cast it, depending on how long she's meant to be entertaining. But basically, the purpose is she's going to use major image to illustrate a sparkling kind of sheer story of
Mhm.
sorts that can weave in and out of the crowd, and it's not meant to look real. It's meant to be like kind of, you seen Fox's Anastasia?
Mhm.
Like the ballroom scene where you see the ghosts come spinning in, kind
Mhm.
of that translucent,
Yep.
pale.
So it's a
Um,
concentration up to 10 minutes. You have effectively a 20 to 30-minute set.
okay, so she can cast it 3 times. That's not a big deal. So I don't think. Let me check my spell slots really quick. So I know if you cast it with a 6th level spell slot, it lasts until it's dispelled. Nope, I have 5th level. So yeah, that's basically what she's going to do. She's going to use her violin music and the major image to do a grand theatrical piece.
Mhm.
Focus is more meant to be more on the images than on her. She's like the backup with the music, but it's still her performance.
Got it. All right. So with using major image, and some of the other tricks along with your violin, I want you to roll a performance at advantage, please.
I automatically have advantage. Do I get double advantage?
Nope. Knock it off.
Damn it. I automatically get advantage on all my performance checks because of my patron.
Oh yeah. That guy.
Base of 13, base of 8, so the 13 was better. How many performance checks am I making? Is this
You're only
overall
going to
just
need to
one?
make one.
Okay. 29.
You've with what kind of piece are you doing? Are you doing a more mellow, upbeat, gloomy, dramatic?
What's kind of, if I can like, before the performance starts, if I can kind of glance around and gauge, is this meant to be like a low key thing? Is it meant to be people are supposed to get drunk and have fun? Like, what seems to be the purpose behind the
It,
gathering?
it it looks like it could run anywhere. Literally, the letter that you got specifically stated we want you to be your best self. So
Okay.
it's literally your call.
Um, Something emotional and something that makes it hard to focus on conversations and more so you're just watching. Like,
Okay.
she's very good at the enthrallment, I guess, is a good word
Wonderful.
for
Yes.
it.
So as you're playing your violin and these images kind of come in from offset, as it were, and you begin to build this, you begin to build the set pieces as people begin to kind of wander in, hearing this beautiful violin music kind of waft through the air. Um, there's mild conversation, but as it goes, the emotional like crescendo of certain areas and then the dips in others. People just that it just gets hushed and you can feel it's palpable in the air that everyone is experiencing this show that you're putting on with more than just their eyes. They're feeling it with their souls and their hearts and their minds, and they cannot break their eyes off of it. It is moving. And when you finally kind of bring it to its inevitable kind of lull into closing, it is a standing ovation. There are people that are crying, there are people that are just like laughing with like joy. They're just everyone is moved by this amazing performance that you just put on. And Blazavir walks up at the end and says, "Thank you so much. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Consider yourself owed a minor favor." And he hands you a sack of gold.
Very much appreciate it. I love having opportunities like this, so you need someone again, you know who to call.
Absolutely, and we certainly will. You do not disappoint. And if you and your friends ever are interested in a timepiece, I know. Guilty as a salesman as always. Please make sure they come by the Gilded Timepiece.
Trust me, I will remember.
Of course. You got 500 gold and a minor favor from Blazovir. And with that, we will slowly wrap up this evening's session, kind of bringing everything back to where our last session began. Everyone kind of fills in the night, just with the rest of their nonsense. Issa obviously probably going to check up on the kids every now and then the next night. Riva finally becoming so angry at some of the crap that's happened to her. This is what inspires her to look for a fight club. Augustine, obviously just being Augustine, magnificent as always, eventually joins up with everybody else. Jean, you spend this evening and the next in silent contemplation until a messenger knocks on your door. And as you open the door, there's a note on the floor that just says, Magoro's Perch, 10 p.m. And that's where we'll pick up next week or the week after, depending on who's got stuff. I know things are going to be weirdo on the holidays, everybody. So if we aren't here, I'm sorry. If we are here, you're welcome. But other than that, please make sure you tune in tomorrow at noon. We will be doing City of Illumination. And then obviously next week, as always, thanks for watching, and everybody have a wonderful evening.